Hello and welcome to another episode of the Anime Lounge podcast. I'm your host Lance, here with my other host Matt, and today we went to the movie theater and we saw That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Tears of the Azure Sea. But before we get into some anime talk, Matt's been itching to rip some Pokemon because he's got a lot of packs sitting in front of him. So let's
Yeah, it's,
get
it's like
that. Let's
candy.
give that a go.
So we got a perfect order in front of us right now. We'll get that opened up. Hopefully we get something good. If
Yeah.
not, only the visual people will even know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Guess the type.
I'm gonna go with fire today.
Uh,
Electric. Okay, so I was off today. Servine, Mawile, Ghastly, uh, Dustrix. Is it Eradicate? Trainer card. Vivillon. Shaman. Evolved form.
ooh,
Oh, we got a full art. Who is that? It's blurry a little bit.
yeah.
Oh, Esper.
Yeah.
Okay, nice full art Esper.
And
Oh, and nice Gengar.
Gengar.
Okay, so we ended up getting at least a nice full art.
There we go. Full art Esper is pretty cool. It looks really cool. It's sleepy. And that's as far as I'm going to go with that one because good times. Good times.
Yeah, right. Very nice.
And let's get into the meat and potatoes of what we actually came here for. And that was just kind of reacting to That Time I Get Reincarnated as a Slime, Tears of the Azure Sea.
Mm-hmm.
Lance, start off. What was your thoughts of the movie?
Honestly, I'm a little mixed on it. There was lots and lots of time where it was just slow and really dragging on, but there was a purpose to it. The reason why everything was so slow and just a little bit annoying. We needed to see this new city that we were in, and it also allowed for us to learn also this new character and a couple other characters, honestly. But we had to slowly learn about our new environment instead of just being thrown everything. It's like, hey, this is new character, this is your new place, and just deal with it. We got to see a lot of this new city.
Yeah.
It took a long time, but it kind of sucks because you just want to see the action, and
Fair.
there was a little bit of action, which is when it started to get real interesting. But halfway through the movie, you kind of realize that this isn't a movie for Rimuru. This is a movie for Gabta. And if I had known that a little sooner, I think I would have, just accepted that a lot quicker. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say that because you expect this movie to be about Rimuru and it's really not. So I am okay with the movie, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, enough of me talking. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. It was fine. The movie was fine. If you love slime, the movie was, it was enjoyable, but that was about as far as it goes. You see a bunch of the demon lords. You get introduced to new characters. It was not about Rimuru. It was 100% about Gapta and this new character that we'll talk about in a little bit. But it was basically Gapta's movie. That's what this was.
Yeah, this movie was definitely for Gapta, which is nice because we got to see him become a little bit more important in like the last season or like 2 seasons ago. Yeah, two
No,
seasons ago.
it was season 3.
Season 3.
He became a part of the Big Four, which is really when he became important. So I would say last season is really the only time he's been important.
Oh, I'm losing my sense of time right now. Is that when the Big Four happened? When he fused with Ranga?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, we got a cool perk out of that season. So it was nice to see more out of Gapta out of this movie. So all
Yep.
worth it. Also, listeners, by the way, we're going to spend the first half not spoiling anything, and then we'll let you know when we're going to start spoiling.
Yes. One thing, you really need to see season 3. Lance, did you start season 4 yet?
Yeah,
Okay.
two,
Okay.
maybe 3 episodes in.
So everything up to this point, you understand what's going on.
Oh, definitely.
I will say I have not gotten. This is not. I don't think this is canon to anything for the light novel, as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know. I think this is just good added information.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just a way to world build without like. I mean, it's the movie, so you don't have to feel bad about like filler episodes, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. So this movie is not canon, but they do make canon references to this latest season and what we can expect later in this current season. So it isn't like far fetched to say like we can just drop this movie in the middle of season 4, and that's kind of how the timeline works. And it'll probably be just fine. I don't know how the season's going to work out because it's still early yet, but
I would say because I know what's going to happen, it'd be kind of weird. Like it's before, like it's the before the events of season 4, but it has to be after the events of season 3, which doesn't work in the timeline of events that happens. But you know what? We'll say this happens in the course of 2 days. So they could have taken 2 days and gone and done something, and it probably wouldn't have affected anything.
yeah, right. So if anybody has started season 4, there is a scene in this movie that kind of like replays another scene with Diablo. So we know this just takes place within the realm of season 4 and just a little bit past that. So that
Yep.
was a fun little thing to see if for those of us who are kind of caught up.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, as far as the movie was concerned, it was fine. It was slow paced. It was a lot of kind of character development type stuff, world building type things. The artwork, the animation was fun. Kind of everything was kind of lighthearted. There was the one issue I had with the movie is that there was like zero stakes in the entire thing.
Yeah, we knew everything was going to be just fine.
Yeah, so it's kind of that's my biggest concern with the movie is I just was never felt like emotionally attached to any part of the movie. I just kind
No,
of
not
felt
at
like
all.
I was and I enjoyed watching it. Probably won't watch it again.
I feel the exact same. One last touch on the animation, which was absolutely beautiful, especially when they were animating like the water and more importantly, like whirlpools.
Yes.
The whatever they did for those whirlpools looked so sick.
Yep.
Absolutely great.
All right, now I guess we're gonna start talking about the movie. There's definitely going to be some spoilers. Nothing too crazy. I think Lance and I do a pretty good job of giving references to the show or movie without giving everything away.
Yeah. So here we go. So Yura is the new main girl aside with Gapta. What did you think about her?
Her was pretty cool. I'm glad she wasn't just some like damsel in distress.
Yeah.
That was really fun. She seemed interesting. She had a lot of depth to her as far as a character is concerned. I had no idea what to expect, and that was really not what I was expecting as far as her.
No, not at all. The way that she was first introduced to us being like this secret ninja person, and then come to find out like she's just kind of this princess who's been living under water basically her entire life because she never saw a sunset. So you can imagine that was her first time being on the surface. And it just got me thinking, how is she so goddamn good at all of these gymnastics and parkour abilities, and she's really good at fighting. So like they kind of just made this supposed to be princess into a total badass, but like
Yeah, that's not
it's
uncommon.
it's not uncommon, but it's now that I think about it, it is a bit of a stretch. It makes me feel a little bit more weird towards her.
So
Anime logic.
it is anime logic. Do you think they? I mean, they kind of talk about it. She is. Oh man, do you think that she is the person from the picture? We'll say it that way, because I don't want to spoil it too much, but I want to talk about it.
No, because they did
Okay.
make a reference that this was made long that the picture was made long ago, and there's been like reincarnates or whatever. So I was just took it as like she's an ancestor of the original.
That's fair. Yeah.
What are you getting at?
Uh, Basically the reincarnated stuff, where she is essentially just the original, but in this body.
Right. Okay. That's fair too.
And that would make sense with some of the like acrobatic stuff and the fighting and all of that extra stuff that happens
Okay.
is just she is from she's reincarnated. She's a reincarnated person. And one thing that they talk about is if you do get reincarnated, at least in this series, is you retain your memories of the original or of the previous reincarnation. Like
Yeah.
that's not uncommon for that to happen. So if she is a reincarnated person from somebody previously, well, then there we go. That would make sense.
Sure. I remember there was a moment where she was also seeing like the water dragon's memories or something like that too, wasn't she?
Yes, but this is 100% going to be a spoiler. I would say skip like 2 minutes. We get inference that the water dragon and her are the same.
Especially
Well,
at the end. Yeah.
yes, and then when the two pictures become one, that is the inference there. So that kind of gives a foreshadowing. I was like, that's kind of interesting when we see that part.
Yeah.
And I believe that from that the water dragon was always the princess. It was always the original person who gave the flute
Sure.
slash fang. I think they made mention of a fang. I missed that part. So
Well, the movie starts out with them saying that
mm,
Yura took the dragon fang, and then
mm,
halfway through the movie, we saw G's like expand the fang, and it turned into the flute. So they're one and the same.
okay, you were yes. Now I'm remembering. But basically, for the movie, we get like the opening credits was weird. Like it threw me off. I was like, what is going on right now?
Well, with like just
The-
the introduction of Yura and jumping through and stealing the fang.
yes, just it because it kind of starts with well, it does start with that, and you're just like, what is going on? Like I understand. I know this is a slime movie because that's what I paid for, but I was not like it doesn't. It kind of goes off from what normal slime usually starts with.
Yeah, yeah, threw me off. I knew we were going to clearly be learning a couple new characters, so a little bit of this backstory that it was acceptable, but of course I was like, oh, this is we're not going to like start directly with Rimuru in Tempest or something. It's just going to go straight into something new, which is I guess I'm okay with that anyway.
Yeah, I will agree with that one. It was kind of nice to see the additional characters. So like it's yeah.
Oh, the Princess of the Above Ground.
Yeah, the elf She's the elf queen, not the princess. She's an elf queen.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's in charge of all the elves. So it was really cool to see her. I know they made mention of like dragon. Oh man, it's the dragon carriers, like the flying through with a dragon. I'm
The,
drawing a blank.
like the taxi service that the dragon was doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was not taking that literally because they do make that is like something that is referenced in the series is the dragon carrier type thing.
Okay.
I just kind of thought that's what they called it and not actually riding a dragon. I was like, oh, okay, sure. I guess that's what we're doing. It threw me off. I don't know why I
Oh,
didn't expect that, but it definitely threw me off because I
so when
wasn't
you
expecting
were
that.
reading the light novel, you thought it was just a grand name, not a literal dragon?
Correct. Correct.
Interesting.
Because
Okay.
dragons are a rare creature in this world.
Yeah.
So you're going to take one to taxi you places? It just threw me off. It really threw me off. It is also the Elven Queen's mode of transportation, so I guess it shouldn't surprise me
Sure.
because she
Yeah.
does whatever she wants.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we go to this island, which is really cool. I thought it was like a nice change of pace. It's not something that's ever been referenced before, so it made sense. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. It's the Queen's vacation spot essentially, and because we just kind of met her in the last season, it makes sense that we don't know about this place.
Yeah, makes sense.
Everything made sense as to why we don't know about this place.
The island itself is pretty cool. It's kind of just like a big Hawaiian island, and it looked like
Yep.
it'd be a lot of fun to be at. There's a giant volcano in the on the side of the island, so
I mean, you would know.
I haven't seen Hawaii's volcano. We went to a different island. We
Yeah.
do plan on going to see it next year, so we'll keep keep you posted on that one. But speaking of that volcano, during the fight scene near the end, that volcano did take a little bit of damage. I kind of expected a little bit of an eruption, but nothing happened.
No, we didn't get that. I was also expecting an eruption from that. I mean, we did get to see something really cool. Rimuru did something, which was, fun, which was a lot of fun. It was essentially just a upgraded version of the thing he had done previously.
Well, you get super combo beam.
Yeah, the from season 1 when he has to kill everybody for the
Oh,
demon to get all
the,
the souls.
the kill count. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of this, since we're in spoiler territory, the final attack to the final boss,
Mhm.
Zodon, it was kind of cool to see Rimuru's attack,
Yes.
but at the same point, this movie was like for Gobta. I would have liked to see Gobta be the one to give the killing blow or something like that.
But that's not Gapta. Like nobody would have believed it. Let's be at least at this point. If Gapta, like I understand the movie's basically revolving around Gapta, but if Gapta was the one that killed the villain in this movie, everybody would have been very like even more skeptical of the movie than we are right now. Like, could
Mm,
you imagine if Gapta would have killed him? You would have been like, so Rimuru was there to just transform and to be a reason as to why we get to focus on Shion's boobs for like 3 seconds.
that is kind of fair. I guess in my point of view, I would have been okay if Gapta was like the hero in the end, but at the same rate, totally understand that it's a slime movie, so
Yep.
Reamer's got to be the one to do the final flashy attack, which was it was still cool.
Yes. And I mean, he did save the princess, so we got that part at least.
That's true. That
We
too.
got Gapta we got to transform Gapta, which was really fun. And one thing that I really like that Slime does is they make use of everything we've seen or know about from the past where
Yep.
nothing is a throwaway, which I really like. I like the fact that we spent all this time doing stuff and it's not for nothing.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since we have so many characters to go through.
Yeah.
They just, yeah, like you said, they don't skip out on what they're capable of doing, and they just remind us of why they're still around.
Yeah, because even like we even got a little bit of Benimaru and Sue and the grandpa. I'm drawing a blank on what the grandpa's name is, but
Yeah, I think he starts with
that,
an H. That's all I can remember right now.
yeah.
But yeah,
I can
they're so minor and so background characters in this movie. We do get a tad bit of action out of all of them, which was
yep.
nice. I think the anime community would have been very annoyed if we didn't see Soe and Benimaru at least do something.
Yep. And then we did get some of the we got Demon Lord Valentine, which was kind of cool. She didn't do anything.
No, but it was cool
Yeah,
to
she
see
didn't.
her.
She was there, and that's the important part. We got Ramaris, right? Yeah,
Yep, Ramirez, the fairy.
the fairy, which I mean, she's going to be around forever at this point.
Yeah,
And Malim and Frey, which we didn't really get a lot of. We haven't really gotten a lot of Frey, and she is kind of Malim's handler, so it makes sense to like at least see her be around.
yep.
So we got to see all of our characters, and then did you think Jeez was going to be like the bad guy?
G's definitely did give the impression that he was the bad guy because we saw him kind of early on, chasing down Yura and going after that fang or slash flute. And then he's the one that summoned the water dragon. And then you're like, oh, wow. Okay. So he's definitely the bad guy. And then we come to learn that he's not the final bad guy. So that was pretty crazy.
Yep.
Did you feel the same?
Yeah, like I was gonna be really disappointed if that was like how he gets defeated. Like if that was the whole thing and it was just kind of the beginning, G's, and then the essentially conclusion, I would have been like, I went and watched this movie in a theater. Like this is
Yep.
what happened.
I had the same exact thoughts. I'm like, holy crap, this is such a waste of a ticket.
Yes.
But it did get a little bit better.
Yep. And it's Zodon. I kind of did you understand his powers? Basically, he could brainwash, manipulate, and then bring out their latent abilities. Is that what you took out of that?
You know what? It is a little weird because he had Yura inside like this little bubble,
Mm-hmm.
and then like she was under a little bit of a spell,
Mm-hmm.
and then that allowed him to somehow take control of her body to control the water dragon.
Yep.
So if he controlled her, which controls the water dragon, that's how that worked. I don't know.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. His ability was kind of weird. We're not gonna ever figure it out. I guess he had the ability to take over somebody's mind. I guess that's what it is. But then he could also like give some of his power. I don't know. I feel like it was just a lot of anime logic in him.
Yeah. Which is whatever.
Yep.
I guess.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, like, he himself didn't do anything. He just took control of Yura, turned the ocean into his own battleground because he was basically invincible at that point.
What, the water dragon? I thought that was really cool. It was like, that's a hard character to try and fight.
Yeah, it's almost surprising that they threw this in a throwaway movie instead of like, oh my god, this actually might cause real damage to Tempest or something in the future.
Yes. I mean, no, that makes sense because we got other things to worry about in the future.
Sure.
Don't worry. They will find ways. Don't worry about that one.
Okay. But either way, the idea that pulling all of the water from the ocean to have an infinite amount of dragons was great idea. I liked it.
It was a cool concept. It was a clever way to be able to get everybody involved.
Right. Yeah,
No
definitely.
no complaints on that one. I thought the dragon was a good one. And then it also makes sense that he is strong enough to be able to protect the under essentially Atlantis.
Yeah. Cayenne.
Yep, Cayenne.
Cayenne is the underground city for everybody.
The city was kind of cool. It was really interesting that they had underwater like so we saw kind of like in Finding Nemo where they had the currents that could bring you from place to place, but then they
Mhm.
also had currents in the city that could bring you from place to place, and it was like, oh, that's an interesting concept.
It was very interesting. And what also thought was interesting was they had to keep the city chained down,
Mm-hmm.
otherwise it would float up. So, what was like the real cool purpose of making sure that this city stayed at the ocean floor?
To stay away from the fighting in the upper, basically on land, is
Oh,
essentially what the purpose of being underwater was for. We had these nuclear attacks, which that is something we will find out about in the future that will get brought up again.
okay.
So that's just kind of something to keep a thought about. It's nice because I feel like this movie is going to be one of those where it's like, if you watch it, you get extra information. If you never watch it, you're not missing out on anything.
Okay. Yeah, definitely makes complete sense.
And yeah, the movie, I just keep coming back to the movie was fine. I don't feel like I wasted essentially 2 hours of my day, but I don't want to watch it again.
Yeah, right there with you. I'm glad I saw it, and I can say I
Yep.
saw it.
Yep.
Uh, would I have rather waited until it was like free on Crunchyroll like a year from now or something like that? Not necessarily, because it is current with the season that's out right now. So I'm happy to make these connections, or at least drop this into a timeline, just like
Also,
pseudo. So
bold
I'm
of
fine
you
with it.
to assume that you're going to see it in like a year. I think the last one took almost 2 years.
That's fair.
And you kind of got to think about it that way. But one thing, speaking of, the nice thing is if you did get to go see it, closing credit scenes, after credit scenes, we essentially got a glimpse of a character that we have yet to meet, and you will meet this character in the future. I promise you, you will meet them in the future.
Yep. We won't spoil exactly what it is, because that's kind of the fun part about staying for the after credits. But
Yes, we're not going to do
definitely,
that.
definitely watch it, because it's just a nice little tease for what's to come.
And I promise you, we will be meeting this character in this season. Well, in this like 12 episode season,
Yeah.
it'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to this character, and I will wait for my thoughts. To not spoil anything, I'm gonna spoil Lance, but that's fine. Lance can deal with it.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, it definitely stay for after credit scenes. Meet this new character. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Which I really like the fact that essentially the whole reason why they played the beginning part of the episode from the season is so that they could put the after credit scenes in. So I was like,
Yep.
oh hey, that was a good idea.
Yep.
Way to do that one.
Yeah, I agree. Very smart.
What did you got to feel bad for Gapta? Like, what's your thoughts on that one?
Uh, I would have felt more bad for Gapta if he was more of a Debbie Downer at the very end,
Okay.
because he was kind of like joking around, like, "Oh, lost another one," when he was back with the crew. But I did feel really bad for him when he was saying his final goodbye to you're on the beach or on those rocks or whatever.
Yeah,
So I did initially feel bad for him, and then he just turned into back into a bro at the end. So I was like, oh, okay, I no longer feel bad for you. That was just really quick lived. What
that's
about
fair.
you?
Yeah, kind of. Like I definitely felt bad for him, but I also know it would have made things weird in the series. It's like,
Oh,
so
definitely.
if this was a love story and he does get the girl at the end, where is she in the fourth season?
Yeah, right.
Kind of necessary.
Yep.
So unfortunately, Gapta does not get his love interest.
Yep. And I thought the same. He can't win. It's got to be a throwaway kind of a movie. So
Yep.
no
Which
promises.
I mean, I was figuring like she was gonna have to say something along the lines of, I I have to sacrifice myself in order to protect the city, and that's not really what happened, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, she kind of just like totally dropped him and said that she never had feelings for him, and
Yeah.
she was just using him. I thought that was crazy. Like, she's trying to be mean about it, and then she just you know disappears in the end.
Yeah, she disappears. And then this is also going to be another spoiler. Do you think who the thing that we saw in the closing credit scenes is the same person?
Yes.
Okay. That was kind of my thought, but I just want to confirm
Yes.
your thought process.
Just staying in line with like all the reincarnation kind of stuff and the story of the flute. I think I just think it's a continuation.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all in all, watch the movie if you get a chance. I don't you got to support the anime community. The more movies we can get in theaters, the better. And like I said, I don't regret it. It's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to this season as a whole because we're getting 50 episodes and we're only 4 episodes in, so we're in for the long haul.
Yeah, it's gonna take a minute, but we'll get there.
Yeah. All right. I would say that's all we got. Make sure to check us out every Sunday at 9:30 Central Time. We have a good time. Just talk about anime. We'll probably talk about this movie again. And we want to hear from you guys. What is your reaction to the movie if you saw it this weekend? Do more pack rips, and we just talk about what we're doing. You also get a little glimpse of what we're going to be covering for the podcast as well. So if you're curious about that and want to know what's coming up, it's definitely a good place to come hang out and have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. So that's YouTube Live every Sunday at 9:30 Central Time.
So if you subscribe, you won't miss that one.
Yep. All right, and then until next time, we'll see you guys.
Have a good one.